First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Welcome to Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler again. Appreciate all of you joining us. I say that every time we start because I really do. So we're broadcasting live on our social media channels, our apps, and our website. Lots of places to find out the great information that we get to talk about on this show, whether that's deeper dives into news stories that you hear about, whether it's interviews talking about events, or things that could definitely matter to a lot of you. And that is because school is starting back up and everybody's coming off of their vacations. But who doesn't go on vacation? Cyber criminals. That is something I think we're all used to at this point. And of course, they're finding ways to mess with people going back to school, whether that's teachers, whether that's students, whether that's parents. There's lots of things happening out there. We're going to cover that because we have our expert joining us right now. He is I want to get the title right, the Global Chief Information Security Officer of the Americas for Check Point, Pete Nicoletti. Pete, always good to have you on this show. You're full of so much good information for us. But I think to start off here, everybody's going back to school. I know there's some real epidemics of this going on right now as far as cyber attacks. Can you tell us what's happening?
Yeah, Greg, it is true. Checkpoint Research just released some new research, and there's been a dramatic uptick in the number of attacks and number of successful attacks in the educational sector. And it's really, there's a couple of reasons behind it. What we're seeing is two terrible trends. We're seeing the digitization of our educational system. It used to be chalkboards and notebooks, and now everything's online. So now everybody is using these tools that are online. The schools are using third-party tools where they don't have direct control of the security of some of those tools. So it's what we refer to in the business as a third-party risk. So some of those tools are not very vetted. And then what the criminals are recognizing is the information that's stored on some of these educational sites is fantastic for blackmail. So it's an easy target because the educational vector doesn't spend as much money on cybersecurity as large enterprises or banking or the others that the cyber criminals are passing over and hitting the educational sector. So it's all about the information that's online, the fact that they might have not as good defenses. So that combination is leading to all kinds of school breaches. So that's the problem. All of those problems.
I mean, that's a lot of problems to tackle. That's almost overwhelming and terrifying at the same time. So I guess let's walk through each one of these. I mean, you mentioned that there's just not as much cybersecurity for the education system in general. I imagine it depends on district to district as well on who implements what, because there's not really, I would guess, a lot of cohesiveness on that side of things. So how do
you with a lot of problems, it starts with at home, and what parents can do and what parents can do with their kids. First off, it starts with what parents need to do, and that's educating their children on what some of these risks are and what is the importance of cybersecurity. When you and I grew up, it was cell phones weren't new and the internet was invented. Kids these days grow up on the internet. They use phones. They're online with applications all day long. And parents need to be involved and get up and help their kids understand how to bolster their cyber defense. In other words, they shouldn't be posting things that shouldn't be, publicly, that should be private, for number one. Don't overshare, and because one of those things leads to cyberbullying. If somebody, and that's something that I really want to step on and talk about real quick and try to, help parents understand what the risks are. Talk to your kids about what cyberbullying is. And with these new tools, some of them are real fun to use, where you can take your friend's head off and put it on something else. And, some of the tools are real fun to use, but they can be used maliciously, and they can be used to embarrass their other friends and other school kids, and it's really just uncool. And parents need to be get involved and make sure that they know what their kids are up to, make sure they know what the report them if, report it up to the parents if they see something like this, because it really needs to be nipped in the bud, because there's no new laws coming out that are pretty strong against cyberbullying, and you just don't want your kid that's goofing around to get caught up in something that could really hurt them, a long term. So really get involved, parents getting involved. So also a couple more things, Greg, if you don't mind me just keep on
Yeah.
going.
No,
All right.
no, actually, wait, before you do that, just to talk about the cyber, to talk about that really quick, because the cyberbullying thing is, I feel like, such a big issue. And I feel like it's something parents need to be concerned with, not only for your child to possibly be cyberbullied, but also your kid could be the cyberbully, and they're kids. They do.
You can't expect the school to provide this kind of guidance when you're at home. When the kids are goofing off, and when they're at home, when they're playing with their kids, poke into the room, see what they're doing on their computers. All computers and laptops these days come with a parent mode where you can see what the kids are doing. If you suspect your child of either being cyberbullied or being the perpetrator, make sure you are aware of this, as it starts to develop, because it doesn't happen in 10 seconds. It's something that, kind of builds up, and you can see some of the signs. So parents need to get involved. If they're unsure of what to do about it, talk to the school. The school has resources that are going to, give you help. And Greg, for your viewers, we're also going to provide a couple of resources too that you're going to put up on your website later. So some other good ideas that you might want to go through. So we'll tackle that one online as well, Greg.
Great. Well, going on, continuing on when you mentioned some other things to be concerned with.
Sure. Yeah. So your child's credit is actually valuable, and cyber criminals have been known to open up lines of credit and credit cards in your kid's name. So protect that social security number, protect their credit. Go ahead and go to the credit bureaus, all three of them, and freeze your credit. There's no reason that your kids should be opening up bank accounts and credit cards, unless there's a good reason that you should know about. But you really should freeze it and make sure that some of those things don't happen. The other thing is, talk to your kids about getting emails. There's going to be emails coming in from school, and there's going to be, they're going to be living with email and instant messaging from now for the rest of their lives. So, the criminals know this, and they use, right now, ransomware and hacking, almost 90% of the successful vector is coming in through email. So your kids need to treat email be scared of it, and be very conscious of what can happen if you click on a link in email. So if you get an email from the school, be kind of cautious of it. Instead of going to the link that was supplied, go to the school's URL for that particular application, or banking application, or package delivery, or Amazon, whatever your relationship is. Don't go to that URL, that web page address that's in the email, because it could be a malicious link. And here in my company, we have 6,000 employees, and we're one of the most cybersecurity conscious companies in the entire world. And still, 6% of our employees clicked on malicious links when we sent them tests. So
Wow.
even security professionals cannot tell the difference in the spam and phishing emails. So go just read the email, say, hey, log in here to do whatever. Don't log in there. Go directly to the site. And especially with any website that you're going to be sharing login credentials or personal information, make sure you do that. And a little twist to that is, hey, I know how convenient it is to use your browser to keep your passwords and have it autofill. That's okay for your non-high level security stuff. But for anything that's high level security that has repercussions, especially financial, go ahead and get a password manager. there's 3 or 4 of them out there that are great. They go across your phone, your laptop, whatever you're logging in from. You'll have one password manager to manage, and it's something that your parents should be involved in with your kids, is helping out with that password manager, because you cannot reuse passwords. That's number one rule. And you can't have dumb passwords, and you can't reuse passwords. And Greg, hey, I did check your password to see if it's been reused, and guess what? You're okay. There's a website out there called Have I Been Pwned? And this is a cool, you're going to learn a hacker word today, pwned, P-W-N-E-D. Have I Been Pwned? Go there with your email address and see if it's been compromised, because 12 billion email addresses have been compromised. And if you're reusing the password, hackers can take that password and email address combination and log into your bank in 2 seconds. So don't reuse passwords. Get a password manager. So you want me to keep going? I'm on fire.
Let's do a couple more.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Go ahead and make sure you have your computer up to date with whatever patches. Make sure you do not ignore any type of updates on your iPhone or your Android devices. Cyber criminals are exploiting those quite frequently. And also, don't download dumb apps. A lot of these apps that are out there have malicious applications within them. Try not to, try to keep your life clean with that. Keep everything updated. Make sure that you're also using a free tool. Checkpoint offers a free tool, and we'll get that to your viewers in the follow-up. But Zone Alarm, download Zone Alarm. It's a free tool that'll make sure that you're not putting in your passwords in the wrong places. If a domain is registered 3 days ago that's a hacker domain, it's going to say, no. That's not your school address. Your school address doesn't have a Russian Cyrillic character in it that you can't spot as a normal human being. So all those things will be prevented with Zone Alarm. So there you go.
That's some great advice all around there on things to be watching out for, especially right now with kids going back to school. So education at home, number one. Keep track of what your kids are doing. They're kids. They may be very good at running computers and smartphones and everything else that they've got, but they're also kids, and they aren't the brightest sometimes. I think we all know that. So you got to watch out there. And yeah, just a lot of people out there trying to take advantage. So this is all very good information.
Is driving a lot of these tool upgrades, to where you can, do all kinds of really neat art. You can do programming, you can do research, you can write books, you can write paragraphs, you can do all kinds of things. But here's the thing. We don't want our kids we want them aware of the tools and to leverage the tools. A pencil is a tool. It also can be a weapon. So you want to make sure that you're using it for a purpose, for its correct purpose. So if you're using, some of the art tools that are out there, they're unbelievable, but use it for good purposes. Same thing goes with ChatGPT and all the generative AI tools that are out there. Use them to supplement your education. Don't use them as a crutch, because if you use them as a crutch, you're just not going to succeed. But if you use them to benefit your education, what you have to do these days now is leverage the latest tools, be aware how to use them, be aware of the benefits, and also the downside. If you start using ChatGPT to write your stuff, we've seen kids that actually leave the generated by ChatGPT in their response to their homework, and the teacher gives them a big fat F. So be careful. We used to have the crib notes. We used to have the, all kinds of other ways to get by and not work as hard. But the most successful kids are going to know how to leverage these tools correctly, give the right responses to their teacher, make sure that they're thinking creatively and originally, because ChatGPT is not an original thought. You have to give original answers, original thought. ChatGPT is just regurgitating words from its $81 million word library. So know how to use it, know how to leverage it, but stay original and use it to help your education, not to crutch your your education.
Always such great advice. I feel like we'll need to do a follow-up segment and diving into some of that other stuff too. So definitely looking forward to that. And for everybody out there, who wants to follow up, we'll get something on an article here for the site. So some of those recommendations that you're going to be sending over, but also for people who want to go look up something now, what's the best place for them to go to follow up?
Well, we don't have that out to your website yet, but I'll be real quick. Go to Have I Been Pwned? Make sure, that's your homework for tonight, right? This is an educational segment. If you go to Checkpoint, you can download our Checkpoint research on the educational sector, and also go to Checkpoint, type in Zone Alarm, and get that free tool. So you have 3 bits of homework for tonight. And then the fourth is talk to your kids. See what they're doing, see what they're up to, get involved. And if you're not a tech savvy parent, which a lot of parents are, get help from other tech savvy parents. Go to the school, talk to them. They're going to have guidance counselors. They're going to have smart teachers there. Absolutely. They're going to be helpful. They want your kid to succeed as much as you want your kid to succeed.
Pete, as always, appreciate you being here on Fox 12 Now. Love talking to you and looking forward to seeing you soon.
Thanks. Take care, Greg.
You too. And I'm going to be going to Have I Been Pwned right now and checking all of my email addresses. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, too. This is Fox 12 Now. We appreciate all of you joining us. We get to have a lot of great conversations here and educational segments like this, learning about the good, the bad, what you should be doing, all of that, covered right here to some extent. And go to kptv.com. We'll have that article up here with this video as well.